Hi, this is editing me from the darkness. This is just to say that there's a poll out for a new show in the new slot that's going to happen midweek, and there'll be a link to the poll in the description for you to go vote on what the new show will be. So please do so if you care about that kind of thing. That's all, really. On with the video. Hello, YouTube, and welcome to episodes 9 and 10 of the Monogatari series, that being episodes 9 and 10 of Bakemonogatari. We're back at it again today for another couple episodes. I'm very sorry about the delay on Land of the Lustrous. I've been sick, and I tried to record Land of the Lustrous, and honestly, my voice just went. I probably shouldn't record while I'm sick at all because it's a bad product, and I think that was the demonstration as to why people don't do that. But I've had some drugs today, and hopefully I'm okay. We're gonna see how we go. This will also be part of the reason the video's in two parts again today. So I'll record part of it today and then part of it tomorrow. So I'll change costume and lighting and all that kind of jazz. But I don't think you guys will care too much. I hope not. Anyway. I had a little funny tidbit about that delay video that came out. Actually, it's quite funny. So I just got a notification on YouTube that that video has done the best over the same period of time, as opposed to any video that I've uploaded, which is very funny. Like just the video that's explaining why I'm sick, like it's doing better than most of my other videos. The ones that I put, hours of effort into. But anyway, it's YouTube. It's funny like that, isn't it? And arguably, you have both fan bases of both of my reaction series watching that video. So anyway, I just thought it was funny. Anyway, I wanted to go through the comments again quickly of the latest videos. So let me just bring them up. And there was two specific comments that I wanted to highlight. Where are they? I think I'll start with I think it's Saber Round. Yeah, let's say Saber Rounds comment here. Advice again, just go with the flow. And I'll combine that with SL Slurst's comment here about not thinking to understand everything. If you like Monogatari, I assure you will rewatch it. That's how the series works. And yes, it gives so much information, but similar to quick screen texts, you don't have to know/read it all. Time will come for you to come back to those. Just like the text, try to understand what catches up to your eye and enjoy the experience. Thanks to the upload. So yeah, I took that comment last week that said, "Hey, maybe you're overanalyzing stuff, and just go with the flow a little bit more," and then produced a 2-hour episode. So I kind of didn't take that comment to heart very well. I'm going to try to do different today. When we're not going to do as much prediction, we're not going to do as much overanalysis. We're not going to do much of that stuff. We're just going to see what catches my eye, kind of be a little more liberal with my cuts and that kind of thing. Only speak about what's really important to the episode. Because I don't know how many times I've said this show looks good. Like, I don't need to keep saying that. You know what I mean? I think it'll make a more digestible episode, and it'll be easier for me to watch more episodes in one video, if that makes any sense. Anyway, we're going to see what the overall consensus is there. If you guys like, no, maybe we like the over-analysis and that kind of thing, then maybe we'll keep it. I don't know. We're trying to find our feet. This is still one of the first times I've like made a real YouTube video and that kind of thing. I don't really know what people like, that kind of thing. But yeah, we're gonna trial something a little bit different today. We're just gonna, as you say, go with the flow. Should be a bit of a short episode as a result, I hope. The next comment here is from TJ Gibson. Loving the vids, man. I am thoroughly on the side of not worrying too much about missing stuff, as what's important in the series will become clear later on. In terms of recommendations, for something more lighthearted, I'd recommend Little Witch Academia. It has a really fun main cast, a really cute style, incredible animation thanks to Trigger. Also, the show does have an overarching plot and is not purely slice of life. I've seen the first 4 episodes of Little Witch Academia, but I'll be very open to coming back to it. I'm a huge fan of Studio Trigger and what they bring to a show and that kind of thing, so yeah. I'll probably put it on the poll. We'll see. On the more thought-provoking side, maybe something to replace Land of the Lustrous, I thought that Tatami Galaxy, which is one of the few anime I'd actually consider perfect. It's a big recommendation. It's one of those shows I think it's best to go in knowing little as possible about. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the comment, TJ. Tatami Galaxy will definitely be on the newest poll. Am I wrong in saying that there's something new regarding Tatami Galaxy coming out? Maybe? I saw a key visual for something that had a similar art style, but I'm not really sure where that fits. And I don't really want to look into it until I see the first show. So, anyway. But yeah, both of these recommendations will be on the polls, you would think. The next comment here is by Fats. I think the reason people pointed out that Senjo's comment about Kambaro last episode didn't imply romance was because it explains why Araragi is so shocked to find out that Kambaro is a lesbian. You are absolutely right about Kambaro having a crush on Senjo. It's just that you weren't necessarily meant to know it until the episode, which is why I imagine people wanted to clear that up. There's also a degree of meaning in the fact that Senjo didn't specify that herself, which sort of plays along with the whole issue of Senjo not really acknowledging Kambaro. And yeah, just saw your analysis where you touched on this. Yeah, this is what I thought was the case. It was just a big mess, honestly. Probably, I would say that's 80% a sub mistake, and then 20% me being a bit of a dumbass that's too over analytical and that kind of thing. Anyway, in terms of good slice of life comedies, Kaguya-sama is always a great choice. Really good comedy, great romance, and some great character development, and wonderfully over the top. Hold up. I am 100% with you. Yeah, I love Kaguya-sama, but it absolutely wouldn't be blind. I've read the manga, I'm up to date on the manga, and I've watched all of the anime. So, I don't know if it'd be a very good reaction. Maybe I'll put it on the poll just for laughs, but I should specify that it's not blind. But yeah, such a great show, such a terrific manga as well. I didn't even mind anyway, manga spoilers. I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, great show, great recommendation. Just already seen it. The next comment here is from Alexander Dunkelheit. You were right about the mistranslation spoiling the twist. That's basically what I was pointing out in that comment, although I wasn't trying to make you think the opposite, just correcting how it should have been translated. I think you did a good job there, Alexander, I'm going to be honest. I've seen other reactions before of people using other subs and not having those suspicions immediately, and even after Araragi suddenly gets attacked, they don't jump to conclusions as to who and why. But I personally don't mind this type of analysis driven reactions since they can usually predict stuff anyway. The OP pretty much gives it away as well with the song and the visuals. You got the Lily symbolism right, that's impressive. That's good because I was just kind of bullshitting it. Also, I have to mention that if you like Araragi and Kambaro's interactions, the novels are worth giving a try. The conversations are 100 times longer and funnier. Anyway, have fun watching the next arc. The next OP is the anime OP, the meme, the legend. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's Renai Circulation. I'm going to say that's my prediction, even though I'm not supposed to be predicting things, but anyway. Regarding the novels, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I don't know if there's like good translations online or any of that kind of thing, or would I need to buy them or that kind of thing? Because I wouldn't be opposed to buying them because I bought this. So I thought there was a very interesting comment here by Matt. When Araragi mentions 1001 Nights in the flashing text of episode 7, I think this is intended as a clever meta reference about stories and storytelling. Nisio Isin loves to make puns and his wordplay involving the concept of story, the most obvious example being the title of every book in the Monogatari series. 1001 Nights, aka Arabian Nights, is a collection of stories narrated by a desperate young woman who must tell a new tale in each chapter to avoid being executed by her evil husband. What the hell? I never knew that was about that. That's awful. God, what an awful husband. Anyway. Similarly, Bakemonogatari is a collection of stories, each chapter/arc being a new tale told by Araragi, a POV narrator. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just a throwaway reference to a Magic Lamp story, but I think the structural and narrative parallels between the two books are too similar to be a coincidence. Also, I can't help but note that the life of the heroine in 1001 Nights, she must tell new stories as a means to survive, sounds a bit like the life of a writer, especially in a serialized storytelling medium like light novels and manga. And just like the villain of 1001 Nights, don't we, the readers, ultimately decide the storyteller's fate? Really enjoying your reactions to the series and looking forward to more. That's really interesting. Huh. It's extremely meta. And I just said, what an evil husband. Oh no. Am I evil? Are we evil? The audience? The demanding audience? I don't know. What an interesting comment. I never would have thought of it that way. I like that. And then we had one last comment here by Venomous. Glad you enjoyed the Araragi and Kambaro's dynamic. In a series with a ton of amazing banter, theirs makes me laugh most consistently. She really brings her own energy into every scene. Regarding the episode 8 analysis, while she did lie to herself, I don't think she was deliberately lying in the narration. I think she really convinced herself that it was a monkey's paw, otherwise much of the stories would be an unnecessary red herring. The reason she got so fast and athletic is because she worked her ass off out of the fear that she might hurt someone again. That fear must have been hanging over her for years. She wouldn't have had a reason to do that or to turn down Senjugahara's challenge if she didn't believe in the monkey's paw story. I think that all makes perfect sense. And that she is a good person who generally seems to wear her heart on her sleeve is what makes the twist that much more impactful. It doesn't matter who you are, you can have that kind of darkness lurking inside. Kambaru didn't want to acknowledge that part of herself, and like you said, she needs to come to terms with it. I think her agreeing to have her arm cut off was her trying to face that darkness and take responsibility, even though she clearly wasn't over her jealous feelings at all. I think that's what makes Kambaru interesting as a character, and the twist work the way that it does. Like, she seems very studious and forthright on the outside, and when we learned that she actually wanted these things to happen to these kids, deep down inside, it's like, no, Kambaru, that has to be some kind of mistake. And of course, Araragi thinks the same thing, and we're kind of Araragi, and anyway. But Oshinomeme, he's, sees through it a little bit more. I particularly like this comment. I think I commented underneath that it was very well written, and I agree with that. I wish I could write like that in a very clear, concise way to explain exactly what I think. I struggle with that a little bit. Yeah, in the written form. Not that every other comment isn't great, I just particularly enjoyed the prose of this one, I will say. So just a little recap here before we jump into the next episode. Kambaru meets with Araragi and they just kind of say everything to each other. They talk about the incident last night, Senjugahara and their past relationship, and the apparent monkey's paw. They then go to see Oshinomeme, who tells them that it's maybe not a monkey's paw and is actually a rainy devil. We are then treated to parts of a flashback of Kambaru, in which she tells the story about these kids in school and them getting injured because of the monkey's paw. Araragi and us, the audience, both think that these injuries were caused as part of the monkey's paw's kind of deal. Like, you would make a wish, I want to run fast, and then it would interpret the wish like, oh yeah, so you want these kids to get hurt. When in actuality, it isn't a monkey's paw, and deep down inside, Kambaru actually wanted those kids to get hurt. The best line in the episode is when Oshinomeme just bluntly says, but it's not a monkey's paw. Because I still kind of internalized, oh yeah, it's a monkey's paw, of course it did that. This, of course, implies some internal darkness on Kambaru's part, which we talked about a little bit earlier. They ultimately agree to fight to try to break the contract of the Rainy Devil, if that makes any sense. Araragi powers up, but is still ultimately defeated by Kambaru, until Mummy Senjugahara, after being called by Oshinomeme, comes in and saves the day, demonstrating her love to Araragi, and thus voiding kind of the contract, making it untenable, unable to be completed. Kambaru and Senjugahara also kind of make up. More like make out, but anyway. We meet Kambaru in the same way we meet Hachikuji at the end of the last arc, outside during the day. So upon reflection, I now think that there's some contrast here going on between night and day, like the dawn of... It's happened in all three arcs, if you know what I mean. So the bad stuff will happen at night, and the next morning, in the sunshine, everything's going to be okay, and the incident's resolved. I think I like that as a little bit of a... I forget the specific word for it, like the weather depicting the mood of the scene. And some predictions. There'll be new characters, it's a new arc, and I'm not going to say anything else. No more predictions, we're just going to watch it, okay? And we're just going to jump right into it. But before I do that, if you like this video, please consider liking the video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. I'm going to keep churning them out, so you keep watching them. And yeah, comment below show recommendations, anything I can do to improve my presentation, anything I can do to improve the video length or reaction or any of those kind of things. I'm very open to criticism and that kind of thing, so please comment below. Anyway, let's get into it. And we're back here for the reaction portion of the episode. All good, it's up. What have I got here? 26 minutes and 9 seconds. There'll be a timer in the bottom corner for this reaction. And I'm going to give it a little 3-2-1. The arc's name was Nadeko Snake, and this is the first episode, episode 9 of the whole series, just so we're all on the same page. Yep, the subtrack is on, and we're just going to give it a little 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. It's also, yeah, Nadeko Snake. I wonder what that means. Alright, this is pretty. I really like the backgrounds here, actually. The use of color is great. This track is really growing on me as well, this song. Sengoku Nadeko? Who is this? What is going on here? Yeah, I mean that's the Renai circulation. Okay. Big Brother Koyomi. Or Koyomi Nichan or something like that. Okay. This kind of implies that there's kind of like a bad ending coming. And yeah, this is Renai circulation, everybody. So this character must be played by Kana Hanazawa then, right? Or Kana Hanazawa, if I want to speak like a normal human. Yeah, this is a classic opening. I don't really know what to say. It's just, I guess I'm gonna have a bit more fun reading through the lyrics of this one. Actually, I've never actually done it before. Just want to go like, like, come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Like all the stupid remixes and that kind of shit. They're kind of drifting closer together. Oh, little blush. I like the green hair as a choice too. Just I've never really commented on it, but strong character design in this show. Some of them are a bit simple, but definitely like, I don't know if iconic's the right word, but you know. All right, so what we're gonna do with these sections is, instead of reading them aloud during the kind of analysis portion, I'm just going to read it through once and then just make some comments on it. You know, anything that kind of catches my eye, we're going to be a bit more discerning with our criticisms. Yeah, lots of holes. Got them snake pants on. Yeah, that's a weird question. Oshino gave me a job. Okay. Well, Oshino's involved immediately, so we're already one step ahead. An Ofuda. I've got no idea what that is. Is that what that is? He doesn't leave the house. His job. Okay. Okay, so you kind of work off your pay or whatever. Oh yeah, technically. Huh. Okay, that was clever. And then look at the hand as well. Alright, cool, cool, cool. Oh, I like that. Like kind of the balancing. Alright. Hmm. What do you mean? Well, you were earlier. Is she is she trying to test you? Okay, good options. Okay, Senjo Gahara. Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am. This feels very different from the other episodes, just in the way it's directed. Maybe it's the location change. Hmm. What friends? Wow. You're in, mate. I like the it's the kind of the numbering on the I don't know, like the gates or whatever. I think that was a clever technique as well. Yeah, this location again's great. That's a long time. But the arms seemed fine last episode, and maybe not fine enough to play basketball. Or maybe she doesn't want to play basketball. Anyway, probably doesn't matter. Hmm. It's curious that that character before was kind of running back from here. Hmm. Is she feeling faint? Hmm. I don't know Kamvala to ever have felt worn out. Yeah, she's like sweating. She's like a comic book character. Hmm. Love the music here. Like foreboding. And kind of like traditionally Japanese in a way as well. Koyomi Onichan or whatever it was. Hmm. Yeah, okay. Like a friend of the sisters, maybe? It seems kind of falling apart. Was it always like this? I don't think Kambaru is in a good way. If I was to guess, it's a bop too. How is our queen? Is she okay? She was almost in a trance or something. Nadeko snake and then look at the rope, maybe? Don't know. That's nice of you. Oh, there's blood? Oh, snakes. Yeah, the music's been a standout this episode. Sengoku Nagdeko. Okay, Hanakawa's coming along. Seems like. Yep, there she is. I love fucking Hanakawa so much. uh, her scene's always the best. Okay, yes, I will. Oh, they're doing exam prep again. Yeah, there must be some kind of ulterior motive. Doesn't sound like you. Shinro. Yeah, you were. So you're going to try to get in as well. I only know what I know. It's kind of a line. Sounds like it'll be difficult, right? Study hard and you'll get there, though. That's how it works. How do you know that? Were you there? That's nice, I think. Interesting. I don't really see how that's relevant to the story. Oh, look at this shot. That was great. And again, like the framing with the books, similar to the framing with the school desks and stuff last episode. The snake shrine. I'm wondering how this ties into her kind of deal or whatever. What do you mean cuddling up to you and that kind of thing? Again, like the sweat. Ooh, here we go. Oh, so her hair isn't actually green. It was just kind of like the thing for the opening. Yeah, you're not getting it. It was a test and you passed. How'd you know that? Yeah, Senjuka Haru will beat you up. She doesn't need an excuse. It's good to see that Senjuka Haru and Kambata are getting along there. Kisu? Hanakawa's scent. Hanakawa's breath? Don't do it! I love the shot here too. Mm. Pretty waffly. I'm pretty waffly. Oh, wait. Is that what waffly means? Friendly with everybody. Yeah, no, that's why it was kind of a test, right? Yeah, and I think that's kind of what she was doing. Yeah. It's a bit weird, but I get it. Omitted. Well, that's a great little piece of animation. Mm. Why are you saying that, Hanakawa? Probably like a big college, right? You'd think. Hello? Yeah, I agree. But you're really smart. Going on a trip. Like a gap year? That's nice as well. Okay, that's good. Uh, as long as you have the means to do so. Himitsu. Little secret. Okay. Huh, similar to what happened to Kambaru. Lately. I'm not going home. Okay. What? Bro, like the Hitchcock music or whatever. Yeah, textbooks are so expensive. Oh, this is great again. I love the colors. Again, we're looking at this like kind of mid afternoon going into night, and then maybe it'll be solved by the morning again. Interesting. Don't be weird. The younger sister. Okay. That's yeah, that's what I would think as well. Hmm. You're a star. I'm glad that Kambata is like back, if you know what I mean. I thought she'd kind of take a back seat. What did that mean? Let's take what happened yesterday into account. Gotta kill another snake. And but crying while doing so. So again, it must be some kind of ritual or something, right? Okay. Bit of a flashback. Rara. That's nice. Araragi. Rest is omitted. Okay. They used to sleep in the same room. No, I don't. It's really not that interesting. It's useful to know your fetishes. Good bit of physical comedy here. Living specimen of a harmful book. Yeah. Erohon. I know the titles. Wait, did he buy them when he was buying textbooks as well? What are these faces? That's a shot from last episode, or 2 episodes ago. Oh, good. It seems like she's entertained at least. Okay, why? I love her voice. Why? Why? Oh, okay, I get it. Kind of like Snake. They certainly are, like a snake. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works. Absolutely. Is it? Just leave the rumor, Aragi, honestly. Yeah. What'd the snake do? Okay, and that's it. Oh, little ED change. Is it? Yeah, it seems like it. Maybe just that little intro part. Yeah, because this is the same. All right, cool. I don't really know what to make of her deal yet. Nadeko, I guess we're calling her, or Sengoku, I think was her name. Isn't Senroku like a number? Am I dumb? I'll need to look that up. Yeah, this is different. Okay. I wonder what happened in the end of that flashback where it said like rest was omitted. Oh, there's a telescope up there. Because I know this ending talks about stars, so I hope we see a scene like that. Then little next time on. Seems like it. Rightio. Intriguing one, I think. I don't really know what to make of it immediately, and I think that's okay as well. We're going to jump right into a bit of analysis. Yeah, so back for the analysis portion here. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it initially. It felt very different as an episode. I'd love any insight into the staff. I just don't want to go digging myself in case I spoil something. But it felt like it was made by someone else potentially. Again, no Senja Gahara, which we didn't get a lot of Senja Gahara last arc outside of the first episode really, and the last one. So I'm wondering if that's kind of something that's going to keep coming back, like Senjo will keep coming through to save the day and that kind of thing, or maybe she just isn't involved in this arc, and that's cool as well. I just thought it was an interesting choice. So, in line with what I was saying at the start of this episode, I'm going to try to, chill out a little bit, or maybe watch through the opening once and pause on a couple key stuff and that kind of thing, but don't try to infer too much. Considering we're going to finish the arc tomorrow, I don't think there's much to be gleaned here meaningfully. And with the text at the start that flashes on screen, I'll read through it once and then maybe give my thoughts at the end, instead of being so painstaking about it. Other than that, we're not going to try to be too predictive. We're just going to talk about what's in front of us and stay in the moment and do all that kind of fun stuff. Cool, cool. And as always, I'm just going to pause on stuff that looks cool and will be good examples for what I want to talk about the episode. Just straight off the bat, I wanted to give a shout out to the music. I don't think I do it enough, and I think the music was particularly good this episode, especially the choice and musical direction of it, if that makes any sense. I thought there was choice pieces for each scene, and they helped a lot to evoke the mood of said scene, if that makes any sense. And shots like these are kind of what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find another one as well. I guess it's the color palette change that we're kind of out of the industrial areas of the city that we spent a lot of the show in, but like this is gorgeous. Uh, cell shaded's the wrong word, but it kind of is that way. There's big blocks of color as opposed to the blending, which I think is very effective. Like just harsh gradients kind of on these and here as well. Yeah. It helps to, yeah, that combined with the music gave this episode very unique feeling. I liked it a lot. So initially, when this line came up, I'm like, "Oh yeah, Sengoku Nareko. That must be the person he's walking with right now." And I'm like, "Damn, that person looks a lot like Kambaru." And then it was Kambaru, and then I was dumb. I don't know. The arc's called Nadeko Snake, and that doesn't look like the person that I know this arc's about based on the opening. So it threw me for a loop initially, but we came around. We know what the characters' names are now, which is good. Especially in combination with all this like touchy feely stuff that she's doing. I'm like, if that's Kambaru, why would Kambaru be doing all of this? But if it was a childhood friend that somehow came back, then maybe. Again, I was just unsure initially. But when he actually gets a good look at Senroku Nadeko, I think is her name, we see that it's kind of like looking through the bamboo, looking for something in the past and that kind of thing. Like the bright light at the end, he's trying to find it, but couldn't find it initially. And then I think Araragi says, if I only recognized her just then, I could have solved whatever the problem was right away, or something to that effect. So, and she's killing snakes up at a shrine, a traditional Japanese shrine. Yeah, I don't know yet. There's just this lone shot of Araragi right before we go into the opening as well, and it flashes for maybe a second. Just one to keep in mind. And then the previous scene was kind of about if the oddity even cares about the regrets of Araragi here. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes. One other thing I wanted to look into quickly is Senroku a number? It sounds like a number to me. Let me try and find something. Yeah, so Sen means 1,000 and Roku means 6. I knew Roku meant 6, and I thought Senroku sounded familiar. So yeah, I just looked it up and I'm dumb. Her name is Sengoku, not Senroku. So Senroku would have been a number, but Sengoku not so much. Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm very dumb. But anyway, we're gonna keep moving on. I thought I was doing something there. I really thought I was doing something. And now it's the opening. It's the opening. It's one of the few things that I knew about the show going into it. I've seen this before. I've never read the lyrics or really had a good try to analyze it because I never had any of the context. But yeah, it's a classic. Love all the remixes. I think Kana Hanazawa does a great job with the vocal on it. I think she's doing a great job voice acting this character in general because I'm imagining she's just voice acting the whole shebang. You said the VAs do the songs and that kind of jazz. So yeah, it's a great little piece of music. Of course it is. So the subbing's made it clear to me that the song kind of has a pun going on with her name Sengoku. Kind of has like something going on there. Um, with the letters highlighted in a specific way to kind of show that it's a Japanese pun that's trying to be adapted. What else do I have to say about it? I mean, it's classic. I love the colors of it. I've loved the colors of all the openings. Really, they're all very unique, and they kind of attach to their character in a way as well. It's very cool. I love her costuming in general. I think I remarked on the character design of the show during the reaction. It's increasingly solid. I like the hat. The hat's cute. Kind of helps hide her eyes as well. The lyrics there were kind of going into kind of like she lacks Araragi clearly, and something about just getting one more look at him before I go, or something to that effect. So we'll see where that goes. And now it's time to read some text, but I won't go through the painstaking task of reading it all aloud. I'll just kind of make some comments on the end. So here we go. So yeah, it seems like it just goes into again. It's like spoilers for the episode. Like, why would you read this during the episode? Because just goes into a little bit more context about how kind of the snake has wrapped itself around her body or something to that effect. Very tight, leaves the imprint of the scales on the body, and specifically highlighted the word entwined. Again, I struggle to see the purpose of these opening scenes if you're not meant to read them in the moment. Is it just meant to be whatever catches your eye as you're kind of going past, which I'm thinking is easier in the Japanese considering the relative lack of text compared to the English. Like they can say a lot more with a few Japanese symbols, right? If I go back here a little bit, kind of if you see something like this in Japanese, you kind of read it straight up and down, and you're like, oh yeah, cool. Am I wrong there? Can they read quicker than us? I don't know. Maybe I'm grasping at straws. It's just a weird one for me. If you're not meant to read it, what are you meant to do with it? Don't know. Kind of these shots kind of interlaced between the shots in the forest here, or the bamboo garden, I guess you could call it, and these ones here of Oshinomeme's kind of joint kind of demonstrate the contrast really well and why this episode feels a lot different, I think. Even when we're in the bookstore, it's not. This is almost dystopian, right? Look at the red sky and the dead tree, and then can directly contrast that with the green of the bamboo and the lush growth of the garden or whatever. So I don't know. It's an interesting choice, and it feels very different. I also particularly have noticed the whiting out of, I guess you'd call them gates, the kind of the traditional Japanese gates there. I wonder if that's a specific choice as well. Just no reds in the scene where these gates would be typically red. Am I wrong? So yeah, just an interesting color design, production design kind of point, I think. And more to the point, so Oshinomeme's given him an ofuda to go to the top of this mountain to place it on the shrine, and then we kind of get into our story from there. Araragi is, of course, doing this because he owes money based on his treatment for his vampirism from Oshinomeme, from parts of the story we haven't seen yet. It implies that Kambaru is going to have to do something similar to get rid of her debt based on the whole arm shenanigans of the last arc. So we'll see where that goes. Kambaru kind of implies here that Sejigahara kind of set up this as kind of a test for Araragi. Like, hey, you go be really touchy-feely with him and see what he does. See if he's really loyal. Like it's kind of twisted and weird, but it's still kind of funny and very very much fits with Senjogahara's character. I thought it was a funny concept for the scene. I liked it. Yeah, I love this outfit on Senjogahara as well. Is this the school uniform? Am I wrong? And this is what she looks like on the main key visual for the show, right? As well, where she's kind of not lifting her skirt, but the stationery is kind of falling out. You know what I mean? I like this costuming choice a lot. I think the pinks and the reds there are very effective. The rolled up sleeves looks good. There's a lot of sweat in this arc as well, and I'm wondering if it has something to do with the oddity or it's just a uh, like a creative choice, like a connective tissue between it all. I guess yeah, we get a resolution soon, so we'll see. Again, much like a lot of different scenes in the show, there's always something like cutting between all the scenes, if you know what I mean. So in this one, we kind of see these white gates, and here we see it's got a bit more shading on it, so it kind of looks real to the world. But again, very very white, like not realistically white based on the lighting of the area, and has ascending numbers on each of them. I'd relate this kind of to the train approaching from the first scene of 2 episodes ago, and there was also the kind of like thing that falls down and makes the noise in the Japanese garden of Kambaro's home. There was another thing that kind of splits up a scene. I'm really wondering why they keep doing this. It's effective, but any more insight into what it's actually meant to do from a filmmaking sense would be appreciated. We kind of approach the shrine proper and see that it's kind of all roughed up. I'm wondering if this is just how it is, or because they don't react to it at all. So it must just be how this is how the shrine looks at the moment. Okay, so yeah, obviously very old and has not had any restoration done or anything like that. We kind of see, yeah, Kambaru just gets to the top here. She takes her arm off of Araragi, kind of, because that was kind of the mission for the day, right? Try to hold on to Araragi as much as possible and see if he does anything. She drops this immediately and is visibly very tired, sweaty, that kind of thing. It must have something to do with the whole tree snake thing, right? Then Hanakawa does the same thing later, says she has headaches, and that's as Sengoku is in the store as well. We'll have to keep an eye on it. This is kind of built upon with the kind of ominous music in the background, and as well as we'll see later, initially Araragi can't find her, and kind of finds her in a trance-like state, looking at the tree here covered in the rope, which seems to be a focal point for the arc, considering that we find Sengoku back up here later in the episode, killing more snakes. I'm sure Oshinomeme will do a bit of a lore dump on us next episode, but for right now, it's very fascinating how they're telling this story, I think. So Araragi's starting to remember who this character is as well. I think it's like, oh, maybe my little sister's friend, maybe. Still thinking back on that person. And we see, yeah, like loads and loads of snakes have been murdered. They even find more buried later. So Sengoku has been doing this for a long time, or there's more people than just her doing it. Araragi finally remembers the name, and we go into the next scene where Hanakawa's going to have a chat with Araragi about all sorts of stuff. And, you know, how much I love Hanakawa, so let's hop right in. So this scene was kind of like, oh, yes, time for something completely different. We're going to go buy some reference books because Araragi is looking to go to the same university as Senjogahara. That's nice. It's kind of expanding what they were talking about a couple episodes ago now, about their future together and that kind of thing. It's sweet. I like that he's putting his head to the ground and studying hard to try to stay with Senjogahara. That's nice. I really like that. I think it's kind of interesting that Hanakawa has come along to try to give him these books for that, but we'll go into that a bit later, I think. Again, I don't really know what Hanakawa's deal is yet, but she seems to be helpful to Araragi, which is nice. Again, it's like Hanakawa's catchphrase at this point. How did you know that Senjogahara was trying to get into a national university? I don't know everything. I just know what I know. Like she has limits, you know. She also talks about taking a gap year a bit later, that she's going to not go to university immediately and, you know, work hard and learn how the world works and learn some stuff about herself as well. I think that's a good choice. people that jump straight in university aren't always very successful, I think, because at that point you've then just been in school for all of your life, basically, and now you're trying to jump to a job where you're being very well paid. Like, does that always work? Not exactly. So yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good choice there by Hanakawa for a future. I'm just wondering, because it's a very much a surprise. You normally see the studious kids go straight into that kind of thing. I'm wondering if she sees her own limitations in a way. Again, with the line, I don't know everything, I just know what I know. Like she's trying to not know what she knows anymore. She's trying to expand beyond that, potentially, with this move. I don't know. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it. Maybe I should shut up. But I don't know. Just Hanakawa always fascinates me, man. I just want to know what her deal is. I noted in the reaction portion that they use these bookshelves in a way to frame the characters in interesting ways again, kind of isolate them and that kind of thing. Similar to how they use the school equipment in the last episode with Kambaru. Just they always find a way to, like with the bamboo before, they find a way to make whatever the location in fit the need and mood of the scene that they're working with, right? If this scene was meant to be scary, so say they got like two hats, right? They had to pull out scary scene and library. I think they could pull it off. I think that's the power of their filmmaking, if you know what I mean. So we kind of see Sengoku enter this store here. Not really sure for what reason she's here, but her presence here is felt later when we kind of see Hanakawa fall down and fall over and feel weak and that kind of thing. Maybe there's a connection there. Maybe I'm grasping at straws. I don't know. And here Hanakawa kind of continues the thought about Kambaru and her reason for going with uh, Araragi on that kind of trip up the mountains or whatever. Like Senjogohara sent her as kind of a test. Because I think she sees what Hanakawa sees is that he's very nice. He's nice to everybody, and some people take that the wrong way. But again, I'm kind of wondering how Hanakawa knows all this stuff. Like, she knows it like she was there, right? Did she really overhear all of this in class or whatever when they were talking about it? I think she mentioned before that's why she knows that they were talking about the snakes at all. Seems like a lot of information to glean. You know who she reminds me of? I don't know if any of you have seen Hyoko, but there's the character, like the best friend, who his limitation is that he has all the data, but he can't make any inferences from the data to solve any of the mysteries, right? Even despite his greatest attempts to do so. Kind of reminds me of Hanakawa in a way. Just lacking that something. Lacking that little bit of genius. They're very interesting characters, actually. No wonder I like Hanakawa so much. Okay, interesting. So then we get a bit of a Hanakawa teasing Araragi a little bit. Like, oh yeah, this is kind of what Senjugahara was worried about or whatever. Is this kind of thing. I didn't think Kambaru went hard enough or that kind of thing. Is that what she's implying? But yeah, I think it's clear to see that Araragi is tempted by the prospect at least. And then I enjoy kind of the immediate follow up to that, kind of this shot and the no head, no eyes framing, but still the body language of Hanakawa. Damn, this show's really good. Anyway, yeah, being kind to everybody is a bit irresponsible. Is it though? Is it their fault if they catch feelings and that kind of thing? I don't know. Interesting. I'll stop trying to ponder too much. Anyway. So when Hanakawa gets the headaches, Araragi suggests, "Oh yeah, I'll take you home." And then Hanakawa goes, "I'm not going home." And then Araragi's like, "Oh right," it's like he's made some sort of mistake. So that's another hard implication that there's something amiss at the Hanakawa household that I think we're going to see next arc. You can kind of directly contrast this entrance to this path with the first kind of scene in the show, the different use of colors and that kind of thing, but still keeping the white gradient on the gates and the trees and that kind of thing. Like something more sinister is afoot this time. We kind of went to a little bit more of an orange palette once we got to the top of the temple last time as well. Just that they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And yeah, they kind of catch Sengoku in the act here. She's about to kill that snake, which is fair enough considering what the snakes have done to her body, apparently. But is clearly crying while doing so. So it's like kind of against her will in a way, or she has to do this for a certain reason. Like she's not happy about killing the snakes, obviously. Is it just because she has to kill a living thing because of what's happening to her? Something about the snake god, the snake altar? We get kind of a flashback here. I'm wondering what's kind of happened with Sengoku in the years since this. And we see at the end of this flashback that it's kind of like scene omitted. But even in this flashback, we kind of see her at a very young age kind of idolizing Araragi, like fixated on him, even though they're playing a game in a way. This was back when Araragi was a bit more studious and a bit more of a good boy and that kind of thing. The scene omitted at the end of this is definitely where the end of the mystery lies, I think. Yeah, so they kind of immediately bring Sengoku into Araragi's room, to which point Kanbaru is very excited at the prospect, and she immediately looks for the dirty magazines and that kind of thing. I know this was made ages ago, so magazines were more of a thing, but everybody just does that on their phone now, so no dirty magazines in my room, I can tell you that. Kanbaru kind of implies that she knows what his fetishes are from her time stalking him during the last arc. So, is it a bad fetish? Is it one of the no fetishes that we've been talking about? We have to reveal his fetish at some point. I demand it. Anyway, we'll see if it becomes relevant. There was a big long sequence here with like kind of these drawn, very stylized comic images and that kind of thing. That is probably a lot of references that I just don't get. But it was visually striking. I liked it. Like, what is this shot of him on the money meant to symbolize? There was nobody in the store back then. Like when I was spending the 10,000 yen. So did he buy dirty books when he was done with the library with Hanakawa? Can you buy dirty books at the library? There's many questions. See, look at all these. Her eyes are like shoujo here in a way, even like the eyebrows, not the eyebrows, the eyelashes in a way. But it's all very old manga style. Again, I just don't know. They just do shit with this show. Whatever the people feel like that are making it, they put it in the show with reckless abandon. Like, what are these temples meant to sound? Why? But it makes the show visually interesting, and that's all that matters. Maybe, I don't know. At least Sengoku seems to find it funny. That's all that really matters. It's that she's cheered up a bit. And then, yeah, she kind of goes, "Can you turn around for a second?" And then they go, "Oh, yeah, sure." And then she changes her clothes, which I'm sure you could hear her doing. But anyway. And we see kind of, I'm probably not going to pause on any frames of it because I'm not like a weirdo. Uh, we kind of see her half naked body. And we see lots of kind of, I think Araragi said they were like kind of like rope burns in a way, where it kind of looks like scales have been pressed into her skin. Again, reflective of the whole snake thing we're going for with this arc. I thought this was a good joke. They execute it pretty well. Again, Kambaru and Araragi work well together here. Like Kambaru is like, "Oh, you're not supposed to say that," and then he says very bluntly the wrong thing, and then it's like, "Why'd you say it like that?" It's like, "I thought you said to say it like that." It's funny. They get the jokes off. Yeah, here they kind of specifically end on the line, "I hate my body," and I wonder if that's where we're going. Kind of some self-esteem stuff, but we'll see. It's all going to be very dependent on what happens at the end of that kind of flashback sequence we saw. Then we kind of see like a slightly altered ED. Like at least the starting portion was a little bit altered. All these visuals. Kind of this part in the middle's pretty similar. But then once we hit the chorus, it kind of depicts Sengoku differently. and we see exaggerated character designs of each of the characters here as well. Where I think it's the sisters on the far right there. Okay. Very busy, very visually busy, but purposeful, I think. And the song bangs. I've said it like 14 times now, but the song is awesome. And yeah, I think that's just about my thoughts on the episode. Yeah, definitely an interlinking episode when there's not much you can really grasp initially here. It's obviously a shorter form story than the other arcs we've had so far. I think, wasn't it the first arc was 2 episodes, but that kind of felt like a bit more of an introductory to the characters as well, and was obviously meant to be a little bit shorter there. I kind of prefer the 3 episode pacing to the arcs, and I'll see how they do with the 5 later on. But and we'll see how strongly this ends. I'm gonna kind of reserve judgment till then. But yeah, we'll see what's going on then. I'm going to cut here, and it'll be the next day. So goodbye for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back in like 2 seconds, but like 24 hours my time. All right, cool. Bye. Yeah, so hey, hi, it's the next day, and I'm going to watch the second episode now. It is Nadeko Snake, episode 2, which is back in Monogatari, episode 10. Let me pop that up on screen. Awesome. It's the first frame right now. The video length is 24 minutes and 42 seconds. I'll have a time in the bottom corner. Cool, so we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to give it a 3, 2, 1, go. Snake Constrictor. Okay. Okay. So this is what's happened to her. Yeah, what does it do? I love the shadows here. Was he like doing the shadows? A person's spite. Okay, so somebody sent it out. Okay. Hmm. We don't know. I think you're involved, Araragi. Okay, I didn't. Yeah. So that probably isn't the answer, no. Okay. So why don't you do it? Okay. So that changes the context of these lyrics in the opening about the love affair, or just wanting to go look at you, or any of those kind of things, right? Because it could be about what they explain with the friend. But I didn't really take that in very well initially either. I didn't read the subs quick enough, didn't take the information into my head. I've heard so many stupid meme remixes of this that it's kind of ruined. You know what I mean? But it is a bop, though, I will say. Kind of drifting closer there, though, right? And then the blush. And then kind of content. I like the pout. I'm a pout enjoyer. Snake. Yep. Okay. Vampire something. Roll fight. Okay. Nighttime. Which means we're solving this tonight. Similar again. We're looking towards the morning. What's this yellow house again? Gotta love that yellow house. Is she gonna put any clothes on, or? I don't think it's that easy. Okay. Yeah, just lie. That'll work. And get some clothes on, please. You're the muscle here. Oh, great. Okay. Could be fatal if we don't do something tonight. Okay. Great. Awesome. She's got a bra on. That's a start. It's an invisible snake. So she rejected the guy that she liked. Maybe it wasn't placement amateur. Legendary vampire with royal blood. Oh, okay. Okay. There's something else up there. Yeah. So she's very unlucky. Well, Ocean of Memories give the okay, so. Again, the shading on those poles. Interesting. Well, they look painful. They're pressing into the skin, right? Okay. Dead end. It's actually more helpful to say when you're hurting if you're hurting, you know? Okay. Next to widescreen size. I don't get it. This track's really relaxing. Is it still? Yeah, it's still nighttime. It's really well lit out here. The moonlight is bright. Yeah, look at this. It's like there's a spotlight on them. Different vibe of this location at night, I think I noticed last episode too. It's because of you, Araragi. Okay. Okay. Kamura is such a little weirdo. Ski. Ski. I can't like say that name. Sihiki. Ski. Can't say it fast. Okay. Don't be weird. Next commercials. Thanks for telling me. That was menacing. Is it a school swimsuit? Yep. Awesome. Great. Yeah, he did. He's self reported. She loves it though. Okay. Okay. Or the little leitmotif. The little Renault circulation. Wait, circulation? Oh shit. Hmm. That's nice. He's good with bikes. I can't see why it isn't. Are we gonna see the snake? Maybe. They love doing the characters. Wait, they're disappearing. Well, that's good. He loves his wordplay. It's like splitting off into different symbols. I mean, that can't be it, right? There's something else coming. We should leave. Oh, then good. Okay, she's not loving it. That was like an eye with like the moon in the center. Don't need to be get the camera out of there. Don't need to be doing that. Okay. What goes around comes around. Curses come home to roost. Or like a question mark. That was fun. You'd certainly do. You have a good job of finding them, Araragi. Hmm. That's who he is. Hmm. That's good. Hmm. A 10th vampire. Abandoned Shinobu. Hmm. She's not in a good way. It's going around her neck. She's dying. Help her? I don't know how. Oh. Uh... Oh, there's two? Twin snakes. She needs help. I don't know how you're going to do it. Really? Oh. And sent a different snake? Yeah, she's not well. Because he's an oddity. Okay, so you can touch the occult in a way. Don't give up. Oh, broke his arm. Okay, it's very powerful. It's dragging Araragi. Oh, it's kind of sick. I like that piece of animation there. Araragi needs help, bro. Maybe Oshina Meme shows up? Yeah, you're in a bad way, dog. But he's not going to give up. He can't. It's just not who he is. The poison will spread if you get excited. I don't think that this is a not a win-win situation. What do you call it? Like a zero-sum game or whatever. Please leave this place, Snake. Yeah, it doesn't sound very fun. Okay. How's old Sengoku doing? Hmm. Kambaro the hero. I like that. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Because it's not who you are. I really thought you were done for, so I'm happy you're alive, Sengoku. Don't be too hard on yourself. But that's just who you are. I really like that as a piece of character development for Araragi. I think. Because his whole heroic persona isn't sustainable. Well, at least I don't think. Not in every situation, anyway. There's limits to everything. So was Sengoku not really awake and seeing him trying to kill the snake even once it was off her, going back to roost per se? Would she have been mad if she thought that he was trying to save the person that cursed her? I don't think so. Yeah, Yeah, I definitely don't think so. So can't believe there's no scene between the little sister and Thingo and Sengoku. But yeah, no next time ons. We're not allowed to. Yeah, that was an interesting one. I think we're gonna go have another look at the episode from start to finish and try to piece some stuff together. It's not very conclusive in a way. You know what I mean? It's conclusive in the lesson it's trying to tell, but I don't think it's conclusive as a piece of storytelling, as a actual arc in a story. So yeah, this arc, huh? It's certainly different. I'll say that. I'm not really sure I like it as much as the other two. I don't think, or the other three. Yeah, it's probably my least favorite one so far. I guess what it does for Araragi's character is interesting. I think. I think he learns some important lessons there at the end. I think the bait and switch that it does with Sengoku is pretty good. I was nay convinced that she was going to die. I was very sure that she was going to die, and that was going to be the point of the arc, that you can't save everybody. Instead of that, we're kind of flipping it a little bit. We can't save everybody, even our enemies, even the ones that put the curses on us, even if Araragi wants to, which is an interesting direction to go in. I don't think there was enough context around the friend or the potential boyfriend to make that hit very hard. The little twist there with the two snakes, that we learnt that two different supernatural things were sent after Sengoku. I think we've got some interesting context regarding what's happened previously with Hanakawa, and I think we've gotten some stuff with the wider kind of Bakemonogatari mythos, with all these yokai and supernatural things gravitating towards this place because of Shinobu's royal vampire blood, I think they said. So we'll see where that goes. Shinobu is certainly seems to be important. But then I remember the lines about the ruined vampire. I think we're going to see what's the go there sooner rather than later, I would imagine. But I digress. Let's get into the episode and we can talk through a few more things in greater detail. I guess my main point is it doesn't really feel conclusive. I don't really feel like a bow has been put on anything, much like the last two arcs especially feel like they ended in just the right spot. You know what I mean? Maybe that's by design. Maybe it's not meant to be satisfying because the conclusion to their individual story wasn't satisfying either. Araragi didn't get everything he wanted in this sense, so therefore we as the Araragi substitute, the audience, don't get everything we want either. Or is that just a fancy way of saying it wasn't as good as the previous arcs? I don't know. I'll say initially, I'm a big fan of the conceit of this scene in particular, this opening scene. The way I understand it is Oshino is making these kind of shadow animals with his hands. I think that's a and this frame's actually really great. Just the way everything, like the way Araragi's put in the scene and the rays of light and that kind of thing. It's pleasing to the eye. It's a great way of showing off the oddity that's also creative to look at and true to the characters in the scene. I'm particularly curious from this. So, snake constrictors aren't something an amateur could handle. So, either these two characters that are friends are also familiar with the occult, or something else is afoot to do with the other yokai that were up on the mountain at that time. So, the implication is that she likes Araragi, correct? And that's why she rejected the other bloke? Okay. And that's what the opening is about in the lyrics, about Araragi as a senpai and liking him and all that kind of jazz. Okay, seems pretty straightforward then, I think. I do love a good pout though, so I'm a fan of this. She should pout more instead of being naked, but we'll get into it. Cool, just like last time, I'm gonna read through this myself and then give some thoughts at the end. Yeah, some interesting little tidbits in there. I think they go vampire, cat, crab, snail, monkey, snake. Again, implying that Tsubasa Cat, the next arc, happens in the past. I think that's pretty obvious to see at this point. The other thing they go into, like, kind of the history of snakes worldwide, if that makes any sense. Like they're always considered kind of an evil entity, an evil animal. And then the last point, which I think is the most pressing, is that they are hard to kill, and they keep popping up no matter what. Kind of more to the point of the going home to roost kind of thing with the curse. Like it's hard to kill a snake, right? Sometimes you just have to let it go. You can't do it all. Those kind of things, maybe. Again, maybe I'm grasping at straws, but I don't know. I saw this damn yellow house again from 2 arcs ago, where I thought this house was very important. It still might be. It still might be somebody's house that we just don't know. The yellow house keeps getting shown. I don't know. They wouldn't put it in the show if it wasn't important and make it yellow. Anyway, we'll see. I'm gonna get a little bit critical again. Half of this episode, the camera is like between Sengoku's legs, and she's like 14. And I didn't think that it needed to be there. I didn't think it was particularly creative or funny. I just thought it was weird and fetishy in a way that I didn't appreciate. So we're gonna have to dock points there on the old "is this okay" or meter. Like obviously it doesn't make me hate the show or anything. It's just like why, why was it here? It wasn't even meant to be titillating in character for Araragi, right? Because he was just watching his like friend get kind of constricted by a snake. It was completely outside of the realm of the show. It took me out of it in a way. Like, oh yeah, perverts are watching this. Now I remember. You know what I mean? Took me out of it. I didn't really like it. We're going to move on, and I'm not going to really pause on any of the frames where it's featured. So they initially tell Sengoku that it isn't really that serious. They try to imply like, oh yeah, we can fix this. It'll be fixed quite easily. And then as soon as they go outside, they're like, yeah, she's in real danger. I like that as a piece of character writing there. Like they don't want to freak her out. She's still very young and obviously scared and traumatized by what's happening to her. So they're like, everything's going to be okay, even if we don't really think it's all going to be okay. Like in particular, okay, I won't keep going on about it. This will be the last one. But in particular, this scene here, like none of the other characters are present. Why are we just watching her change clothes? Why is there close-ups of her in her underwear? Like why? Why? Even in this series that's kind of already kind of dirty and that kind of thing, it felt really out of place. I didn't like it. Anyway, so the curse was kind of placed by an amateur and then exacerbated by the killing of the snakes, even though it would have been the right thing to do in any other circumstance. Okay, I think I'm getting it. So, kind of because of Shinobu, we're getting a lot of weird stuff happening at the shrine, and that's why the events of the episode are happening the way they are. And that's why Kambaru felt weak when she was kind of in the presence of the shrine. But that doesn't really explain Hanakawa. Maybe she just kind of just had a headache last episode. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was just overanalyzing that one a little bit. I don't know. I really like Kambaru's presence in this arc, if that makes any sense. In the comedic scenes, I think she bounces off Araragi well. I've noted that in the previous episodes as well. I really like the dynamic. And in the serious scenes, like she has a great moment at the end of the episode where she saves Araragi, of course, but I still think she's very good to bounce dialogue off. So Araragi right now is kind of exposition dumping a little bit, even though that's got a negative connotation, even though it's fine here. I think it's particularly interesting with the lack of Senjogahara in the arc. It shows that we don't need Senjogahara there all the time to tell a story. Even though I think her presence would have been welcome, I think it definitely gives a different spin on things to have Kambaru in her place. Yeah, it was one of the things I really enjoyed about this arc, I think. Again, we're continuing the thing, this just must be Bakemonogatari's thing at this point, without a particular relation to characters. Just street signs. I love the street signs. I think it's always a great touch. It definitely fits their kind of urban aesthetic a little bit more than when we go to the bamboo kind of gardens and that kind of thing later in the episode and climb the mountain a little bit more. Contrast there. I particularly like the context of this that says dead end now. I thought this was ominous for Sengoku. This just means it's ominous for Araragi's philosophy going forward. That he's going to find himself in a dead end by the end of this, and he's going to have to turn back around and change his decision. This in particular, paired with an older figure and a younger female figure, makes me think of older or younger Araragi and younger Sengoku in a way, kind of mirroring their little relationship there as well. Another thing I'll notice about the arc is that we didn't end in the morning, if that makes any sense. We didn't find our resolution in a way. It's still nighttime. The problem wasn't really solved, even though it kind of was for our intents and purposes. The curse wasn't lifted, it was just passed on. We didn't get our nice big resolution in contrast to previous arcs. And all this talk about constricting, and then I remembered Renai's circulation. Like, circulation? Does that make any sense? Maybe I'm reaching again, I don't know. These gates, in contrast to the last episode, it's kind of flipped. So it was during the day last episode, and they were a bright, sharp white. And in this scene, they're kind of a sharper black because it's nighttime, with the yellow kind of symbol on it instead. I thought it was interesting, just a little bit of contrast. It is a very bright night, I noted in the reaction as well. I wonder if there's some kind of meaning there. Or maybe they just needed to light the scene in a way that the art director wanted the scene to be lit, and they just chose to have a really bright moonlight to accommodate that. Again, I don't know. Also, Araragi's little sister went to a different school, and that's when they kind of lost contact with Sengoku. Okay. I missed that in the reaction. Good little bit of context there, because I had no idea if like the sisters had a falling out with her or something to that effect. But just drifted apart. It's natural, happens. This big sinister energy coming off this face, and the way she says, "If only I had an older brother," or something to that effect. It was just weird, and the colors change as well. It felt very ominous. I don't know. It felt out of place, or maybe it is in place, and I just don't have the context yet. Anyway, yeah. Look at this. It's almost looks like it's daytime, just when she's looking at Araragi. Okay. I get one funny part to her wearing a school swimsuit is that Araragi kind of self-reports that he has a fetish for that shit, and Kambaru is kind of trolling him. So it informs the characters in that way a little bit. At least there's a joke there, I think, where in the previous scenes that there wasn't really to me. I like the use of film grain and video artifacting and these harsher letterboxes to kind of demonstrate that it's a flashback. So it's simple stuff, but if you do your simple stuff well, then it translates. And more to the point in the flashback, just kind of connects what I would have already assumed from the scene. Just kind of gives some origin to why she calls him Koyomi or Nichan as well, even still, and why she has feelings for him and all these kind of things. Thought it was well done. So the charm and the procedure that they're doing right now is kind of lifting one of the snakes, but it ends up being that there's two. One initiated from the jealous friend, and another one initiated from the potential suitor that she rejected. So this would have worked completely if we had realized that there was two snake constrictors from day dot. Or if in the first scene of the arc we had recognized that it was Sengoku and could have acted accordingly. I thought this shot was effective. It's kind of like they're making an eye out of the branches with kind of the moon as the iris, like something otherworldly is watching the situation from afar. I think it's trademark Monogatari creative, using something that's already in the scene, and very creepy to boot. I think it's well done. I guess another thing that this arc will carry forward is this line. I think that'll keep coming back in the show. Curses like chickens come home to roost. So when he's trying to take the snake constrictor off of Sengoku physically, it could attach to him. And if not, it'll go to the person who cast the curse initially. And Araragi wants none of that to happen. He wants it all to be on his shoulders to fix. I don't know if this was purposeful, but his hair thingy kind of makes a question mark here. I thought that was a pretty good little character design choice as well. Just clever. And Oshima Meme says at some point he's going to leave the city, but he will tell Araragi before he does so. So this is obviously a setup. This will come back at some point. But I'm just wondering how we deal with these oddities without Oshino Meme. He's kind of been the solution to every arc in a way so far, or he's at least been very helpful. So without him, I wonder if Araragi's just kind of up shit creek without a paddle, for lack of a better term. Or will he be that advanced with the occult at that point that he can kind of do it himself? I think, and yeah, Oshino Meme kind of comes out and says the subtext as text here. We're like brothers now. I've got a lot of brotherly feelings between Oshinomeme and Araragi, I think. Just kind of the cool older brother that lives, away from home that you come see sometimes and he tells you about weird shit. Yeah, that's kind of Oshinomeme's vibe. I feel this anyway, I don't know. So yeah, this whole flashback scene with Oshinomeme is probably the highlight of the episode for me. Lots of interesting little tidbits about Araragi's philosophy regarding problem solving, about kind of his role as kind of an Oshinomeme replacement in the future, and how he's going to do that as an oddity himself. He says that he's a 10th vampire, I don't know what that means, and that he's going to need to reject Shinobu at some point. Again, this is all up in the air, and I'm not going to speculate too hard. I just thought this was the scene that had the most connective tissue to the rest of the show and will be intriguing to track it going forward. Putting a pin in it, keeping it in my brain, but not extrapolating any thoughts from here. So Araragi makes the connection that there's two snake constrictors, and as Araragi does, runs in and attempts to save the day against better judgment, against what Oshinomeme has said for him to do, and all these other things. But that's just who he is, and that's what he does. Then, as Oshinomeme said, the snake constrictor turns his attention to Araragi and kind of fucks him up a little bit. I think Kambaru implies in a later scene that it's venomous, or at least gets stronger the more excited, is the word she uses, Araragi gets. So I think it would be bad for Araragi to get in a tussle with this snake, even though he is immortal per se. I still think it could do some real harm. I like the POV shots of the snake like a predator in the grass. Effective technique executed well. I mean, Bakemonogatari's got that down pat at this point. The change in POV makes the mundane interesting, if that makes any sense. Like, we've never seen the grass from here, so it's a good change of pace to the way the show's been shot up to this point. You can kind of see Araragi feeling kind of woozy and lightheaded and overwhelmed by the whole situation. And that's when Kambaru jumps in and holds him down, tells him to essentially do nothing. Stop this whole heroic crusade that you're on at the moment. Just sit still and the snake will go away and we could be done with it. But at the very end of the episode, Araragi still resents this decision. This is what I mean. This is probably the most interesting stuff about the arc to me. It's what it says about Araragi going forward. Can you save everybody? Should you save everybody? Is this philosophy that got you Senjougahara, that's got you this far, that saved everybody so far, is it sustainable in every situation going forward? And I think we see the answer is no. Putting your whole effort and your body on the line every single time isn't going to get it done. Got to think about it. Got to be a bit smarter, perhaps. Got to consider the possibility of there being two snakes. Got to plan a bit better. I wonder if these lessons will be taken forward into future arcs. We'll see. Yeah, plus points to Kambaru. I've said it a couple times now, but I really like her as a character. This is a different side to her that I don't think we've really seen, like the really heroic, forthright kind of side to her. It kind of puts some sense back into Araragi in a way. It reestablishes his priorities. It's good. It's good from her. Look at this face on Araragi. I wonder if this will kind of feed back into his self-worth, kind of self-esteem issues and that kind of thing. Like, I couldn't be everything to everybody, even though I put my whole self on the line. Am I trying to be too perfect? All these kind of things. What should have my priorities been in this situation? Maybe he's feeling a bit of regret now. From both sides, why did I try to save the person that tried to curse her in the first place? But also, why couldn't I get the job done? We'll have to see where it goes. But this is the best stuff in the arc, easily. Yeah, I don't have the right to be thanked. Yeah, okay. This is feeding back into his own personal issues with the past, I think. Interesting. Is this him trying to come to his senses a little bit? Because I tried to save the person. Why did I try to save that person that was inherently kind of evil? They did a bad thing. Why can't I let his curse come home to roost? What is it about me that does this? And we'll end on this little face here. I think this was a face that was shown in an earlier episode? Let me check. Yeah, so this is in episode 9. This is in the first episode of this arc. where this face is kind of in the intro. And yeah, I think I assumed at the start that this was foreboding for Sengoku. But in reality, it's just foreboding for the person that cursed Sengoku in a way. Like, I could have done more if I had noticed earlier. That's a good bit of connective tissue between the two episodes, I think. The bait and switch a little bit. That's kind of the twist of this arc, that the audience will think that Sengoku's in trouble, but in reality it's some other completely different internal thing to Araragi. Upon reflection, that's actually pretty cool. That's a cool little bit of meta storytelling. It definitely threw me for a bit of a loop. But yeah, that's the end of the episode there, and the end of this arc. So yeah, closing thoughts, I guess. Not as good as the other arcs in the show, I don't think, but upon reflection, I think there's some good things about it that I didn't notice on first viewing. It'll be interesting to see the repercussions of this arc echo throughout the rest of the series, I think. I think a lot of the key lessons for a lot of characters are exposed here, as well as some interesting pieces of lore that we need to carry through to future episodes as well. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's got its bad parts, it's got its good parts, but yeah, I came around to it. And that's the end of the episode. If you liked the video, consider liking the video. If you liked the video, consider subscribing to see more. This series is coming out every single week, and I'm trying to get through it as fast as I can because I want to see more of the show. So yeah. And yeah, comment show recommendations, comment other weird kind of stuff you know about this arc that isn't too spoilery but will be interesting to talk about. Or anything else to do with this video, my presentation, anything at all really. I'll read them all. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Cheers.